Jumbo everyone, and welcome to this awesome Saturday morning. And today I've been clothed by Canon. You see these guys? These guys are the ones who have clothed me today, and it's really good because today, like I told you, the whole of this month and the next, what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be covering camcorders. For those of you who are into video, the ones who want to start doing vlogging, going live for churches, for schools, for events, then we have set aside these 2 months, April and May, to basically just discuss about camcorders. And last week what we did, we discussed about the XA11, and today I have someone you all need to know. Okay, if you have any Canon product, this is someone you need to know, and you're going to know him in a few. But today we're going to be discussing about the XA50 and the XA55, and he's going to be taking us through. So without further ado, drum rolls. John Wambugu.
Good stuff, good stuff.
How you doing? So this is the guy behind this brand, you see? This is the guy.
Patrick and I go, we go far back.
Yeah.
We go far back, many years ago.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that you're keeping well. It's good to see that you're doing well.
Good.
It's good to see as well that you're still passionate about the brand like I had left you. So keep at it, well done. Good stuff. All right, so what are we doing? What are we talking about here today? We're talking about...
So like Canon, wait, what do you do for Canon?
Oh, sorry, yes. So my name is John Wambugu, right? And I work with Canon. I am in charge of something called Pro Business Development for the East African region, which means that any high-end professional products, be it from any DSLR, your 5D Mark IVs, your NDX Mark IIIs, your R3, any full-frame mirrorless camera or a DSLR, as well any video camera also. That falls under my portfolio, it falls under my category. And more importantly is that we are also making sure that we are localizing the brand, making sure that we are able, as many people are able to interact with the brand as much as possible. So for that, I think that's very important for them to.
I didn't know all that.
Yeah. So that's what I do, and and to make sure that we also, supporting our partners.
Yeah,
like for example, we're here at Cameras Africa, making sure that we're supporting our brand to be able they can be able then to, push more. They can be able to do, so much more as well. Yes. So that's what I do with Canon, and I'm very proud and to be associated with this particular brand. It's a brand that I've been very passionate about since I was since I was starting off the industry.
That I know.
As a photographer, as a documentary filmmaker, and I'm still being able to pursue this because it is a brand that is associated with excellence, and it is a fantastic brand.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now, wait, when am I going to get my camera to go test out in the field?
Which one do you want? Okay. Which one do you want to test out?
Okay.
Yes, we have an array of choices, so don't worry.
Let me go Google and I'll let you know what camera I need. But today I basically just want us to talk about, because there are these two cameras came out almost at the same time, the XA50 and the XA55. And some of the bigger questions is why should one go for this camera, and then and is there any difference, because they both came out at the same time? Yeah. Is there a major difference between the XA50 and the XA55?
All right. First of all, this particular camera is they are part of what you call the 1-inch sensors.
The 1-inch sensors. 1-inch sensors. Okay.
Meaning that their sensors are much bigger than what you have the XA11, XA15, XA45, XA40. So this is sort of a step in on the professional bit. Especially targeting people who are into broadcast, people who are doing documentaries as well, people who have as well studios. So this is a good camera for that. People as well, now we have seen the uptake of live streaming has become a big thing. So this is something that is also fantastic for that particular bit. Now, rightly said, yes, these two cameras did come out at the same time. The same way we had the XA11 and the XA15 coming out at the same time. We also had the XA40 and the XA45 coming out at the same time as well. It's keeping in the strength that within Canon, we make sure that we have a product that is suited for you and your needs. All right. And also the pricing point of one then will be then sort of slightly higher than the other one, just to give you choice. So the idea is that within our any of our categories, the end user can actually find a choice that suits their needs and their budget. Now, since you've asked me these two cameras, everything is standard for these two cameras. The difference is is the output of the SDI that is on XA55.
What do you mean the output is on the SDI?
All right, so if you're going to be, this is the SDI. So you see, so open this up.
Yeah.
I don't know that our viewers can see this. Can you see this? So guys, this is the XA55, right?
Yeah,
this is the XA50.
Yeah.
The difference between those two cameras is just one, the SDI out. This has HDMI only, this has SDI and also has HDMI. Meaning that this XA55 would be more in tuned for broadcast, high-end broadcast work. All right, if you're going to use the Genlock system, for example, if you're going to make sure that you want a stable feed, all right, especially over 10 meters out, this would be the camera of choice. But that does not mean that you can still not use the HDMI. If you want to run it for a long time, for a long distance, you can still use the HDMI with an adapter. You can, the SDI adapter that you can actually input that. That is fantastic.
We actually have them in stock.
Yes, good stuff. So that is I think one of the major differences that our users also need to understand. Another thing that I can also mention, even within the family of camcorders that we have, from what is XA, the difference when you hear a 5, XA11, XA15, XA40, XA45, XA50, XA55. The difference is that as long as there's a 5, there's an SDI.
So the 5 is more.
And sort of the 5 would then
the SDI.
That would represent the SDI.
Okay.
All right. So and that's the reason then we're saying that within the Canon range we have a choice for every particular person to be able then to, to be able to say I can pick this up, I can pick this up, I can pick something else up, and I can pick something up. The beauty with this, the beauty with this, as I talked about, is the sensors. They are 1-inch sensors, meaning that the sensor is bigger. And the old story that is told that photography or videography is the art and the science of recording light. You want to bring in as much light as possible into your camera, so you can have as much control as possible. And that's the reason then we are saying that then these are really suited for that.
Now, question. You're talking about this. This has got a 1-inch sensor.
Yes.
Are there other, like the XA11, for example? How big is the sensor, and what would be the quality difference between this and the XA11?
You see, those are much smaller. So like, for example, that maybe those are what we call now 3rd-inch sensors, for example. They're much smaller. Let me give it a very, because I do know our audience as well. I do a lot of photography as well. You know a crop sensor camera? And a full frame camera? Full frame sensor? We understand that particular difference. With a cropping of maybe a ratio of times 1.6, for example. All right, that is a difference. Meaning that the bigger the sensor, one camera has a bigger sensor, the other one has a smaller sensor. So that is one of the major differences with these guys. Even now, as you step up, and next time we had discussed that next time we'll talk to our viewers about the XA605.
605,
it is also a 1-inch sensor.
Oh, so this and the
Exactly.
Okay.
The sensor is the same.
Interesting.
It will be interesting just to show now that particular upgrade.
Yes.
So another thing about these particular cameras is that they have what you call you can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second.
30 frames per second.
If you're going to shoot full HD, then you're at 60 frames per second. All right. So that is also another major difference that our audiences then need to understand. Because it means that you can also do slow-mo on 4K, making sure that then your quality is very good. The spec is also very, very, very good for that. It was interesting, I think, when we were looking at this particular unit as well, in terms of the zoom-in capability of this camera. It's fantastic, because as you can see here, if you have this top handle here, if you can see me, you get the one on top and you get the one here. The one on top, if you spec it, I do know that our viewers are able maybe to see that.
Let's zoom right there. Every moment deserves.
Right there. If you're able to zoom in right there, you can see that it is very, very gradual.
Yeah. It's actually
It's
very
sort of
smooth.
It's
very smooth.
It's what we call it's cinematic in a way. Maybe because you see, cinema means that you're doing things in a very gradual way. It's almost cinematic, where you can sort of kick in onto your subject very, very slowly.
Yeah.
All right, there you are.
I love what you're doing.
And then as well, on the other bit, which is here on this other rack as well, mean that if you're in the field, and this was actually meant for this, if you're in the field, for example, if you're doing ENG work, ENG means electronic news gathering. These are journalists who are out there in the field, who are always constantly shooting stories, and episodes do happen when you're not expecting them.
True.
You can very, very quickly rack into your focus, bam, you have your focus, and the story is never lost. So that is one thing that I think that is also a very unique feature in these two particular products that then our viewers then also then need then to understand.
So that's a very good tip to learn.
It's pretty something, and of course it is in terms of it is what we call an integrated 15 times optical zoom lens.
In English?
In English means that it can zoom in 15 times further in.
Optical or digital?
Optical.
Optical
Means with a glass that is there, you can be able to zoom in. So digital, of course, is more than that. Yeah.
Now, question is, what is the difference between an optical zoom and a digital zoom?
So, of course, the optical zoom is now what you're getting there, but digital zoom, you can actually be able to spec it inside the camera.
Okay.
All right, and you can be able then even to sort of, what do I say? It's like turbocharged. You can turbocharge your zoom.
Okay.
You can turbocharge your optical zoom to be able to hit it more. So you find that optical zooms digital zooms as well even go all the way even 2 times 30, for example. But if it's a good feature to have because you might be very, very far. But as well, I remember as you zoom in more, that means that your pixels around the sensor are getting bigger and bigger.
True.
It also means, Patrick, that that you also then you might have then a bit of loss of quality.
Okay.
All right. But it is a good feature that you can actually be able then to have.
But then that also means that your shake level becomes even
good
higher.
Stuff. Yes. Now, if you want a constant zoom, all right, something that is a bit cinematic, use a top rack. All right. Hold it and use that. You can see that every moment. All right. If, for example, you're in the field, you are doing some electronic news gathering work, and
especially now that there is
exactly with the journalists, with events. For example, in this country now, we are at a time of elections. Things are happening very, very fast. Things are picking up very, very fast. Is that then what you also need to do is that you also know that down here, the camera has a good option for you, where you can be able to just zoom, rack in as fast as you can to your focus, very fast.
Okay.
So that you don't miss any moment.
Okay.
And that is something that I do know that most of even the journalists or even maybe some of our users don't really understand. If you're shooting a documentary, and in a documentary, of course, you're telling, for example, it's you want to capture as much as you can get very fast. You're also able to
actually
line
have
up on that, which is fantastic. Yes.
Okay.
I talked to you as well about we talked about the sensors.
Yeah, we spoke about the sensors.
I had mentioned as well that this particular camera as well is able to shoot 4K at 30 frames per second. And if you want a lighter file, which is of course full HD, you can be able to shoot 60 frames per second. Meaning, as we had mentioned before, you're able then to get a bit of slow-mo into your image. Something else as well that we're very, very proud within Canon is that you're also able to get what you call our dual pixel CMOS autofocus feature.
I've never understood what that is. What exactly does that mean?
Well,
is it a good language to just sell a camera because it is too much English?
No, not at all.
And then while at it, can you also talk about the stability?
The stability in terms of
does it have any?
No. Oh yes. So that's good. Okay, let me start. No, we are talking about what you mentioned is what you call image stabilization.
Okay.
Now this particular camera, or all our cameras, especially cameras that have come out in the last 10 years, they have what we call the 5-axis stabilization system. Okay. Meaning, if I have my camera and I'm twisting it and I'm moving, this camera will counter measure for me and it will balance out for me.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
This is what happened. Now, on top of that, just to assist you as well, if our audiences can be able to see that, this camera has what you call a powered IS, image stabilization system. So as you're filming, you can actually press this.
Okay.
All right.
I can see it.
You can press, and on top there, it will show you a yellow sort of hand that shows it is very stable. If you let go, it goes off.
Okay.
So that means that it is activated. So on top of the 5 image stabilization system, which means that it is able to counter the
yes, rapid movements.
Correct. You're able then to actually get that going.
Okay.
So hence that, and this is a good one of the scenarios that I can be able then to give. If, for example, you're shooting an event that is very chaotic, maybe a political event, and you want a bit of stability in your camera, you want to make sure that your images are stable.
Yeah, because you never know when you take
exactly. Exactly. You have to run. You have to do all those things.
Yeah.
This camera is able then to really help you stabilize that one out, and you, of course, you have the.
You call it the powered?
The powered IS. It's on your
powered
screen
IS.
here.
Okay.
You can see it there.
Yeah.
As well, yeah. It's powered IS.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
So that's where it is. So it's a fantastic display. Now coming in now to what you are talking about the dual pixel CMOS autofocus feature. It means that within this I can be able to select my point, and this camera will. I think you can see.
It's actually a touch screen.
Yes, this is a touch as well. Maybe just let me add that. It's a touch. You can see there, if I'm picking on that C70 at the back there, you can be able to see that it is able to then pick it up. You can see that?
Okay.
And I just point and that's it.
Oh,
now.
So does it?
Yes. So that's the first one.
Okay.
You're able to, you can chase tracker. The other one is what we call now facial tracking. If, for example, and I think this is here as well, if he moves, maybe I can ask our good friend to move his head slightly. That camera, as you can see, is chasing his focus. He's making sure that he is
in focus.
In focus. He moves around. He does all those things, right? It is able, and you say it is very specific, because even when there's a huge contrast of maybe a brighter color at the back, maybe there's a huge contrast of a dark color in front. That camera recognizes that that's a face, and it is able to keep it in focus.
Okay.
So then in a way, then your production even becomes a bit cheaper. For example, if you do documentaries, because way back you'd need even a focus spooler, for example. Right now you don't need that, because then you're able then to make sure that the camera then is doing that all for you.
Just hold.
Yeah.
Who or what is a focus puller? For the sake of audience.
Yes. So a focus puller is an assistant who helps you keep your subject in focus. All right, and especially in cinema production. And you have what you have is that you purchase an external accessory called a focus ring. A focus ring, and you're able to calibrate and you're able then to keep the person in focus, so that the cinematographer who's filming, or the cameraman, they concentrate on making sure that the composition is fine. They don't really hugely care about the focus. But as well, I mean, things have changed now. Technology has changed now, Patrick. So what you're getting is that now you're having a situation where today's cameraman, today's camera person, today's creative persona, you have to have most times you have to do everything yourself.
True.
Now, for example, you're doing an interview like we're doing here today. I bet you as well, our good friend who's behind the camera is just allowing the focus track just to track itself. He does not need. He's controlling actually 2 cameras. Right there, and he's only one person. It means that he's dependent hugely on technology, and for technology not to actually just fail him. So those are the times that we are in. So it means that if you're able to do that, it means that it is cheaper for you to actually produce something. You don't have to pay someone extra to do that. Of course, on a high-end cinema productions, they still want to have a focus puller. But right now, in terms of documentary and all those things, it's not hugely there. Today's creative wants to go out on their way. They want to do as much as they can do out there, which is something I think that then this opportunity of this technology then brings to you. So now, in terms of the build, because like I was trying just to feel, I think
it's partly plastic, partly aluminum.
Yes.
So is the body weather sealed?
It is weather sealed, and the reason also that it is made with that is because then it can be also lighter.
Yeah.
If you notice now the trend, and this is generally across the world, is that cameras are not what they were way back, where you had to hold, you had to have someone, your assistants, their main work of the assistant is to make sure that they are lifting the camera for you, because it is very heavy. You get? So it is now very, very different. Because long hugely ago, when you'd have a camera like with that, a big, you put it on your shoulder. Now you can have a shoulder mount that can actually be able to sustain you in that. Another reason for that is because health as well, where if you look at the camera personas who are there even in the 80s, for example, if you know someone who was doing that, or even the early 90s, and they did that work for a very, very long time, is that you find that one of their shoulder is slightly leaned. All right, that was because you're carrying so much weight on one end, and most times it was on the right shoulder. Depending, Also, the shoulder that sort of you're leaning your weight in becomes then a bit, big sort of damaged, because then you're doing that. So cameras now are lighter. Cameras now are smaller, and they are more efficient. All right. I do know that size matters, but especially within technology space. But that is now where you can be able to harness. You don't need to have a big camera to put in so much.
True.
All right, because you were talking about technology, the ability, the efficiency of the camera can still be held and be very, very efficient, even in a small body. And that is the time that we actually live in. If you look at, especially even a lot of now, journalists. Even we interact with so many of them, they are happy that now we can have camcorders. Because camcorders are light. He can run with it. He has his tripod, of course, but he can run with the camera. He can set it up very, very fast. He doesn't need to worry about focus and all that. All he needs to know is that he has composed his shot very well, and he's doing very well.
The camera will do the rest.
Yes. Now the cameraman sort of, I'm not saying reduced, but now the cameraman, the major thing is that now they're intended for what they were meant to do, which is composing a nice picture and bringing a very, very nice output. Let now the tech now work for you. This camera as well, if you look at this feature as well, Patrick, is that on the screen here, before I forget, there is what you call, there is a photo snip here. On the screen there is photo, Patrick, meaning that I'm able to click on it, I'm able just to touch on it, and I can take a picture instantly.
Oh.
All right.
Maybe we can just take one.
But we have a card, I believe, in the camera. There we go.
Just that.
Just that. You touch it and it takes a picture. Now this camera also comes on its sensor. Comes with an 8.2 megapixel. 8.2
sensor.
8.2 now. It's very decent, because usually it's not made for photography. But that is a decent camera that any journalist can frame grab, and can actually be able then to be even used for he can send it as he's sending out the rushes to the station. Okay. What else can I mention about these fantastic cameras?
Maybe you can now just run us through, like what does this custom button mean? What does this ND filter mean?
Yes.
And then we've mentioned about the SDI.
Yes.
SDI. And then what is this USB? There's a very small slot over here. Written on a USB.
That's for, you can transfer.
What is that for? As well as.
All right. Okay. So maybe I'll walk you through from the start to the end from this other side. So if you look at the camera here, to our audience, I mean, you have, of course, a flip here where you can be able to close there, right?
Okay.
That means that your lens is safe. That means that your lens is, if you're traveling, there's not so much dust, so much spark on it. On the lens hood, you can be able just to do that on that clip. As you come here on this particular feature, you're having what Patrick mentioned as the ND filters. Now the ND filters are what there's the same, they are sort of I flip it for you. Can you see that? ND filters, there's a plus and a minus sort of sign on them, a symbol on them. What it means is, these are the sunglasses of the camera. Assume that you're out there, it is a very, very hot day,
Yeah.
You do not want to, you don't want to sort of close your eyes, but the sunglasses will help you just dip it down.
True.
So that is what happens, meaning that you can still maintain your other settings, especially the exposure settings that you have on your aperture, on your shutter speed and on your gain.
Yeah.
You can still maintain those settings because then you can be able to close it a bit more. I think you can, and let me do that. Can you see that? Can you see now? Now if I press plus, I'm adding on the filters. You can see that. That means that camera is able to help you out in terms of those things. As an ND filter, which is a very, very professional relay on it as well. Now moving on to the focus, you can see here.
Yeah.
Of course, you can use this particular ring for focus.
So you can actually have it as a manual focus or
manual
zoom.
Good stuff. Yes,
so
manual focus. Yes, you can depend on that particular ring. So that is your choice. And then of course here you can customize the settings and people customize settings that they normally use.
Yeah.
So for example, you go to constantly this particular place, this particular event that you shoot every day, like your show. I mean, your show has been running for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe the lighting setup that you have here is constant.
Yeah.
Why don't you customize those particular settings so that your setup then is much, much faster?
Okay.
That's what most people then do with that. And then as I come here, as you can see here, we have what you call the XLR. Can you see this?
That's the sound.
We call it a dual XLR and mic with line audio input. You can see that here, meaning that you have a wide array of choice. This is professional. You can have your XLR then just come in tapping into there, and you have two. We call them the dual XLRs, and you're able then to really just use that for your audio effects. You can control them here. You can see the channels here, channel 1 and channel 2, and you can be able to integrate that until 10 stops or 10 dBs. Yes, you that's a sensitivity. You can be able to tweak. A good setting for that would be at around, whenever I use it, is probably keep it at around maybe 5 to 7.
Yeah,
it's mid-range and even
it's a bit high. For example, just like having it at 5.
At 5, for example, yeah. At 5 would be a nice beat for that, so that then you don't have you don't have your audio then clipping out.
Yeah.
As well, you can see here you have the other audio features. You have the automatic, you have the manual feature there, AM. You can see all those things there.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's a fantastic way of actually looking at it.
Maybe just one thing that I might need to mention is in case you have a microphone and the microphone, let's say your battery dies out. Okay. But then you have directly plugged it in. All you need to do is now to change from your line in to mic plus 48V.
Yes.
So it will actually power. So now the microphone will actually be powered from the camera.
Yeah. It's called phantom power.
Yeah, it's phantom power. So that's a good tip to always know, just in case you hear that you can't hear your audio very well.
It's good that you repeat that as well, because I mean people really need to understand what phantom power works. And
okay, so right here on the camera we have got what we call the microphone, the line in, and the mic plus 48V, which is also known as the phantom power. So in case you're shooting and your microphone runs out of power or runs out of juice, then all you need to do is that you need to change your knob from the line and you move it all the way to mic plus 48V, which stands for phantom power. Then now your microphone will be able to be powered and you can continue with the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, phantom gets its word from it is unseen. It is there. It is not there. So you're able then to basically then do that. So you have a choice on that, and that's a good that's a good field tip as well.
Yeah.
And of course here you can also mount, like you have your light there. Journalists or people who are doing documentaries, they're able to, you can mount a light there on top there. Yeah. So you can even add other accessories. Even a shotgun microphone as well. So that's what this we call it a cold shoe. It is meant for. It's a cold shoe, so you can use it for that.
Question.
Yes.
Why does the name come from, the cold shoe? Because we have a cold shoe and a hot shoe.
I mean, the thing is that, of course, this does not have any communication with the other camera.
Yeah.
All right. For the hot shoe, of course, is what you can use on a speed light. It's communicating. There's a bit of communication between those two particular.
So the cold is because it can't communicate. It's hot because
this is just the thing that you can plug in and put things on top there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I thought I'd gotten you off guard, but
No. I'm only,
okay, okay,
yeah.
good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah. So on this one as well, this is the recording button. I mean, you have two features as here, again, depending on how you want to use it.
Okay.
Look at that. That is very near where your zoom, your wide or your telephoto, dial bees is right there. Meaning that you can just plug in, you can record right there, you can do that. It's also close here, at the back here as well. You have your recording button at the back here.
Okay.
You probably flip that. Okay, you can use that there. All right. This is very, very easy, especially you're in a place, it's not so hectic. You're on a tripod stand and then you really want to use that. Now, as well, you can also magnify your image, and that's right here behind the image.
Oh.
So if you want proper focus, you can magnify the image, or you can zoom in, then magnify it further to make sure that your focus is okay, or even to see even finer details.
Okay. So your frame will still remain the same.
Exactly.
But then this is just.
So when you record, it will pull out to where you want it to be.
Ah.
This is to help you focus.
Okay, so just to help you focus.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
interesting. That's something interesting to know.
Yeah. So it will help you focus. You can also, if you're not very, very sure about some details, for example, like you're in an event and you really want to see, at the back and so on and so what's happening. You can magnify. That's where you want your focus to be, and you can be able then to do that. In terms of something else that you can have, as well, you can automate this whole camera, making sure that all the settings in the camera are automated. You have an automatic button here. Okay. Maybe you can show them on your camera battery. You can see that. That means that you can automate the whole camera, right? Or then you can also you have the option of manual. Again, that goes back to what we were saying as Canon in terms of the belief that we give value, of course, to our to our customers. True. And within that value, we do believe that you're giving people options. As much as someone is an entry level user, as much as someone is a professional user, you give them those particular options as they grow into the product. Okay. Very interesting here. It's good that I talk about this. This is the SD card slot. Now this camera has 2 SD card slots. Okay, you can see there. I can be able to slot in 2 SD cards, right? And we call it the dual SD relay and simultaneous recording sort of slots. Meaning that if one card, relay means that if one card is out,
that
right,
it gets full, yeah.
It gets full. When you're in relay, just like the race, it sort of hands over to the other card. And you do not lose any footage. All right, so that handover, nothing is actually lost when you're doing that. Yes. Okay. The other bit is that you can also choose, because some people also maybe you want to have your backup, and you want to also make sure that your card, then you want to have your backup, and you want to maybe send the other card maybe to to the station or maybe to the editor. You can record simultaneously, same footage on both cards.
Question on that.
Yes.
Does that mean that can you be shooting on one card
on 4K
and the other one on Full HD?
Correct. Okay. You can be able to assign them basically before in terms of the resolution that you want. So you can be able to assign them on those 2 separate resolutions. Okay. Yes.
Good stuff. Yes. So probably because the seat time is really not on our side as much. Maybe you can just run us through some of the basic camera settings, the ones that probably people need to know when it comes to camera setting.
I think for me, the idea, for me also as well, maybe before I get into that, is that this camera also has is our processing unit. We name them in terms of DIGIC DV. So this is a powerful 6 processor DIGIC DV system, which is very, very good, meaning that it is churning out footage for you as fast as possible into your cards. As well, of course, we talked about the tiltable viewfinder. You can be able to constantly, for example, you're shooting something and you're right there, you can be able, if you're not tall enough and you want to point it out, you can be able to actually look here and you're shooting something that is out there. Okay. This is a very common feature, especially with the journalists. It's very,
because it's up on a tripod, so you just tilt the screen and then you can actually see exactly what you're doing.
Correct. And of course, the camera of course has a very nice, you can mount any tripod on this as well, and to be able then to really help you.
Good.
Yeah. Good. So in terms of the basic features that maybe we can look at,
Yeah.
of course you have on your screen here.
Banana.
Okay, well, they'll be able to. If I go to, I have choices here.
Okay.
You can go to program, so you decide on whether you want to go to program, all right, or you go to TV. TV means time value.
Time value. Yeah.
Or
which you can also
shutter.
shutter priority.
Shutter priority.
Yeah.
AV is aperture value, or
Aperture priority.
meaning that you're setting the camera gives you priority to actually set the aperture.
Yeah.
All right.
And then it does the rest.
And then it does the rest.
Yeah.
Apart from the ISO, all right. So or the gain, then that one
Yeah.
then has to be on you to do it,
Yeah.
unless the camera is on full auto mode. So those are that's sort of the first thing that then you need to know. Where do you want to be? And then you have, of course, manual. All right. So manual is making sure that you're taking sort of everything. You know, you're the one who's in
Who's
control.
actually controlling the
Yes,
shutter speed,
yes.
the aperture.
So a lot of professionals
And the gain.
love using this. But if it's a very quick setup, I always tell guys, you know, why don't you just go to TV mode?
Yeah.
All right.
It actually makes
set
life
your shutter
so
speed
easy.
so that your shutter speed is not then below maybe 50.
Yeah.
All right, to keep the images, you know, constant and so on.
Yeah.
And then now you're able then to move on. You can see this as well. Then you have other choices as well. There's portrait, there's sports mode. For example, you're shooting a rally. So what the camera will do is that it will take itself on a higher maybe shutter speed to be able so that you're not able
To actually get.
Good. Yeah. Then there's a night scene mode, and even as that, this camera has also what you call infrared. You can see that with that flip. I'm able to go heavy with black and white, and especially for because of the it's sort of like a night mode.
Yeah.
You can actually use infrared on it. Okay. I think you're able to use that. All right. Then there's other features like snow, beach, and so on and so. So these are profiles. These are sort of just to help you very fast. There's also a low light one that was added on this camera, which is very, very good. Spotlight, for example, it will make sure that most of the lights where that is going, then it's able then to add, really concentrate on that particular feature. There are also features like I can see as well fireworks that if you are more of a creative, but I know you like shooting fireworks during 31st.
Best time of the year to actually be a creative.
Yes. So this is something that you can actually be able to try out. Yes, and so once you set your mode, the one that you want, then you can be able then to actually then now play now with the other features. But that is really your basic feature. It is a very, very easy camera to use.
Yeah.
It is a very professional camera. It's a high-end professional camera that is packaged in a small body.
Yeah.
That is efficient. That is very durable as well, and it's a camera like really and truly will serve our audiences even much better.
Now, quick one. Now, who would be the ideal person to own this kind of a camera?
Good question. We had no rallied around it, but this camera is especially good for anyone who is in the journalism field, who is doing ENG work or even studio work.
Okay.
You know, ENG, electronic news gathering.
Yeah.
They are field journalists, as well for the studio, and also you can, and also even people who are into documentary style sort of filmmaking.
So would this be an overkill for somebody who wants to do a blog?
A blog where they're traveling?
In either let's say they're in the kitchen or probably they are...
Nothing is an overkill. I mean, none of our products is an overkill. The whole point is that we have a product that is relatable to any of our customers' needs.
Okay.
And any of our product, whether it is a low end or high end, can be able to still give you some features that will be able to still help you with that.
Yeah.
So none of our products is an overkill. Our products are able they're fantastic companions for whatever you might actually want to do.
Yeah. But same way, okay, why I'm asking me this an overkill is the same way our roads cannot accommodate some sort of speeds. So if you have a car that can do over 300,
yes,
you will really never get to fully explore. So like somebody who's, that's what I'm asking whether it's an overkill.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a bit too powerful, okay, compared to what I was doing last week. That's the XA11. So if somebody was to choose between the XA11 and this, just for blogging, probably almost zero prospects of going into broadcast and stuff.
Yes, I understand you. Again, it depends heavily on your budget. Because,
okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's your budget.
True.
That's what I'm saying. We have a choice for you wherever you might.
Okay.
The XA11 is our entry-level video camera, and I know, and I watched the video.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, it is our entry-level video camera.
Yeah.
That is really meant for people who are going into live streaming, starting off, starting off that particular bit. So if your budget then suits that particular need of the XA11, if your budget then suits maybe what you have now as a bigger, which is XA45, XA40, and then later on this, then that is your choice.
True.
That's what I'm saying. So we have a choice for each and every person, and I think that is a value that really the Canon brand is very, very well known for.
Okay, good. And I would attest to it. That's what we normally use to shoot.
Fantastic. Yes, so I'm zooming in on this particular bit. You can see there. It is quite not a lie. They're using is that an XA? That's an XA11.
Yeah, that's an XA11.
XA11, and here you have DSLR
80D.
80D.
Yeah.
All right. You see, so the cameras that can really work well together, and even I do believe even when you go down and sit on the edit, you're able to still sort of match those colors.
Very easy. In terms of color blending and everything, it really works well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So no.
So I mean that's it. Oh, the other thing is that of course you have you could direct power.
Yeah.
All right. So it means that if you're in a situation, like you can see him there, he's actually on direct power right now. Okay. You can see that there. He's able to actually use direct power, which means that you really don't lose moments because of your battery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
For us, I think is to know that to our audience is that Canon, even within Kenya, we have a local presence here. We are supporting our partners as well, meaning that we make sure that in our core is to make sure that we are giving proper value to our end users. We have warranty, we have a service center here as well that is fully kit for all those things. So I think for you is just to know that you have a companion in Canon to basically work with you in your creative journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, quick one.
Okay.
Immediately after the elections, there's the World Cup, and then we have the rally. Not sure that's the exact sequence that is coming.
No, the rally comes. The rally is in June.
Yeah, the rally is in June.
Towards the end of June.
The World Cup is in. I know you're a football fan.
Yes. yes. So of course you have the World Cup, huh?
Now, quick one. Would this be able to capture that?
For sure. This, in terms of the big events that we're having now coming up in the country, even within locally here or even globally, these are fantastic cameras for that.
Okay.
You've seen this camera even has a sports mode.
Yeah.
I mean, so better place to actually use it than the rally. And it's light, you can be able to travel with it if you're in spectator stages, wherever you are. So again, it is right up there. It will be able just to do the job for you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man, so thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And looking forward to talking about the XA55.
XA55, and maybe even after that we can even do something on cinema as well.
Okay.
Like a C70s and just to try and build it up over there.
I'll hold you to that.
Yes,
I'll hold you to
for
that.
sure.
Like I told you, like the whole of April and the whole of May, it's basically just talking about camcorders and everything. And then since you are here, we may as well get the information from you.
Good stuff. Thank you, and continue doing the good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for supporting.
Yes. Very proud of you as well.
Yeah.
Take care. All right, good. Thank you.
You take care.
Asante sana.
Sasa, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for just taking your time. I know you had so many other things to do, but you chose to just spare a bit of your time to come and listen to us talking about cameras. I hope you have learned something about the cameras, and right now the confusion that you had, in case you needed anything clarified about the camera, I hope you have been answered. But just in case that was not answered, kindly write it down on the comment section, and we shall be sure to actually guide you and help you, because we're all about adding value to you and helping you get the proper gear for you to use. Because the more content you generate, the happier we are, because we need to sell Kenya. We need people to know about Kenya. We need stories told. We need more stories about our land told, and the best way of doing it is through cameras. So in case you're looking for a camera, kindly visit us and we shall help you and guide you in knowing exactly which camera you're looking for. We have got two shops actually, located along Kenyatta Avenue. One is actually at Uganda House, the other one is at Westminster House. That is near I&M Building and Stanley Hotel. So if you have time, kindly tutembele, even if it's just to see what's on display, kindly visit us. So until next week, adios from me and from John.
Adios from me, take care and have a lovely week. See you next week.